Hey everybody, Shay here for another manga delve into Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba by Koharu Gotoge. The more times I do this intro, the easier these words start to feel in my head and the way I say them. Because sometimes I gotta redo the intro over and over again because I can't say Koharu Gotoge. Anyways, so we are going to be working on chapter 4 today, Tanjiro's Journal, part 1. I'm looking forward to this particular set of stories, part 1 and part 2. The journal, the idea of a journal, it's more personal. It's this introspection, and so I'm really hoping that we get to learn a little bit more about Tanjiro, a little bit more deeper, like some more depth to the story. Right now, I've been talking about how simple the story has been here, how folklorish it's all been. I feel like maybe that's just to kind of get people in, hook them with a very simple premise so that then they stick around. And then of course volume 2, volume 3, you can go deeper with these kinds of stories, but there might have been a play there might have been a strategy there, and I'm hoping with something called journal. I'm speculating on a word alone here, but that it's going to be more about us getting kind of just into seeing the layers of Tanjiro. Also, I noticed this bonus page that I skipped in the last video, so I'm going to go through it real quick, and it just talks about Taisho whispers and rumors. So these were a bunch of titles that could have been for the book, and the kanji here and what the translations are, but there's like mysterious story of the Demon Slayer, Slayer, okay, evil Demon Slayer. This sounds sort of redundant. Sword of the Demon Killer, strange tale of the Demon Slayer, tale of the Demon Killer, the fantastic strange tale of the Demon Slayer, demon hunting god of fire, and charred god of fire. I did find that the whole burn mark there is interesting, and I am keeping it in mind. And then we have, hello, I am Katoje, this happy alligator. I hear these titles were under consideration. Which one do you like? I think just Demon Slayer. Well, I'm sorry, it's like the Kimetsu no Yaiba is what these other things are, like Kimetsu Kiton. The words are very small. There's no way, not even with glasses. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I might need a better prescription. No, what? No, anyway, so this is a, let's get into it. Let's just move on. Let's not talk about that. Okay, so, I like the whole black page thing from, just other, My Hero Academia, the black pages is the flashbacks and stuff like that, but I don't think that's what's going on here. It is. Maybe it's a nightmarish kind of scenario. Let me catch up. So, first few pages, Act 1, setup or a reminder of the story that has come before, which is like half of the book. So, again, from a volume perspective, that would have been half of. So we're in the middle point of Act 2 here, right? We're going into the tail end of Act 2 and Act 3 from a volume storytelling perspective. Yeah, from my perspective, I'm sort of analyzing the chapter for its page beats, but then I'm also taking into consideration the feeling, the sentiment of the entire chapter relative to the volume. If that makes sense. So I hope I'm being as straightforward as possible. And as we're getting a 2-page, it's not really a splash, although it felt like a splash because the black background flows into the second page here, and everything bleeds off of the edge of the page. And we're getting a bit of a breakdown here, it looks like, of the Demon Slayer. So there are a few hundred members of the Demon Slayer Corps. The organization isn't officially recognized by the government, but it has existed since days of old and still hunts demons today. Wow. However, the identity of the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps is shrouded in mystery. Demons, staple food, humans. They kill humans and eat them. Oh, I got that. Staple food, humans. A little bit redundant there. Tighten up a little bit of the script there. It is unclear when or where they first appeared. They have impressive physical abilities and their wounds heal quickly. They can reconnect severed flesh and grow new limbs. Some demons can change forms. Others possess strange powers. The only ways to kill them are by exposing them to sunlight or cutting off their heads with a special sword. The Demon Slayer Corps fights demons face to face. They are human, so their wounds heal slowly and lost limbs do not return. Nonetheless, they fight demons in order to protect ordinary people. I am a trainer. Just like it sounds, I train swordsmen. There are many trainers in different places. They use various training methods. In order to join the Demon Slayer Corps, you must survive the final selection at Mount Fujikasane. I hope I got that. I decide whether you may attempt final selection. Whoo-wee. So in 3 pages, we're getting the premise here, the setup of what the story is going to be. It's going to be another training. I generally look for 3 of those. We got the first one, or the preliminary one, but there's a good chance that this will also kick off. There's going to be 3 tests before Tanjiro can finally do this whole selection process piece, or this first one already counted, but maybe not. We'll see. But I always try to keep that number in mind just to see how the pacing works. We are in the tail end of an Act 2 from a volume perspective. So there's got to be a sort of payoff at the end of... How many pages are left in this volume? I mean, it's the journal itself is 40 pages. I would say there's got to be a payoff-esque thing by the end of the journal. So by the end of the next chapter, maybe. But right now, we're getting a lot of exposition. Middle of the volume, so we're going to get some heavy exposition about things. Of course, it's the core. So these are like... It's crazy that these things fall in these parts, but... It's kind of like when you know about these things, you might, pick them up off me repeating them constantly, like, because I'll be doing it for every chapter, for every volume, you might start picking it up yourselves. And you'd think that it would kind of erode your enjoyment of a story. So it's the reverse for me. I actually see value in it because that's the part of the story I like to delve into, because I've read so many stories that the surface doesn't necessarily always get to me. Ideas are good. I like good ideas, but I also like that good structural, foundational, I don't know, skill, I guess. Sometimes it's subconscious, right? Like good storytellers are good storytellers, but I like to look for that because I feel like it matters. I feel like it matters to the human race, like that, the hyperbole-esque perspective. Anyways, so I go down the mountain repeatedly day after day. I've become quite good at avoiding traps. I'm growing stronger, and my nose is even sharper at picking up scents. This guy's a machine. But the traps are getting much deadlier. It's like, wow, so goddamn. The bamboo stick traps have knives. The pit traps have knives. All right, today I went down the mountain with a katana. Fuck those knives. I'm gonna bring my own knife. It really gets in the way. So he brought a katana thinking that it would actually maybe benefit him, but he realized no, it's actually, so carrying it got me caught in a lot of traps. There you go. Yeah. So not to necessarily depend on the weapon to be the weapon. After descending the mountain, I swing the sword so much I feel like my arms might fall off. The first thing he taught me was that a katana breaks easily. It's strong against force lengthwise, but weak against force from the side. With a katana, you must attack straight ahead. When you swing a katana, the direction of the blade and the direction of the force you apply must be exactly the same. Furthermore, if you damage the sword, he'll damage you. In other words, if I break it, he'll break my bones. His threats are cold, like the mountain. Well, I mean, you want to train under him. Today I did nothing but fall down, training to break my fall and get up quickly. I did kendo karate, quite a few years, about 6 years of that, and yeah, you train how to fall. It's defensive stance and format, and using the weight of your opponent in your kind of reactionary motions, and not necessarily attacks, but they can be. But knowing how to fall, man, is important. That's why I jumped off portables when I was a kid like a fucking idiot. And then I almost dislocated my jaw with my knee. Anyways, I wield my sword and face Orokodaki with the intent to strike him down. Orokodaki stands against me, unarmed. But he's ridiculously strong. He easily throws me to the ground. Today I learned breaking and some standard forms. Like this, no, this. Bam, 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 bam. It just smacks him, constantly beating this kid. He said I didn't give enough strength I don't have enough strength in my core. Then he got angry and he hit my stomach. Oh my gosh, I've been writing for 6 months, Nezuko, and you still haven't woken up. Whoa. Okay, so we got our first indicator of passage of time here, but that's good because, passage of time, and he's doing this every day. Yeah, it's going to pay off. It better pay off. But Nezuko being asleep for 6 months is sort of throwing me off. Like, why? I don't know. It just did a page count. We have crossed the threshold. I always feel like that's probably a threshold point. It was. This was the first half of this chapter right here with this ending of, I've been writing this. So he's been training. He's been writing down his thoughts because I guess maybe he can't talk to her, and this dude is just beating the shit out of him all the time. And then she's been asleep the whole time. So whatever that means, we don't know. But this is the second half of this chapter. This now is the search for what he wants, and he's going to regret what he gets, and then he has to tweak it. So let's see how that pays off. Once again, almost a summary at the midpoint, which is they even brought a doctor to check on Nezuko. I don't know how that would have helped her because she's a demon. But nothing can help you, of course. But she's been sleeping there. But she's been sleeping ever since. Nothing can be done. He's trained harder. He's gone higher up the mountain so that the air is thinner to breathe. And then basically he just says, "I have nothing more to teach her." And he's like, What? What?" After a year, this is so now we have another passage of time here. In 2 pages, we have another about a year after I arrived at Mount Sagidi. That was all he said. The rest is up to you. Can you take what I have taught you and bring it to the next level? So within 2 pages, we have the whole, what does he want? Well, he just got what he wanted. He wanted to get the approval of a master or mentor to be a demon slayer, and he's got the sword. Now, I don't know if he's a demon slayer. These are the tests, I think, to then decide whether or not he has what it takes to become a demon slayer. But he is sent off. He's sent off on, oh, well, what's this? If you can split this boulder, I will approve you for your final selection, as I was saying. So in the flip of the page, we have the he knows what he needs to do now to get what he wants, and now we have to get like this. There's got to be a sort of a flipperoonie here, right? So a boulder. Well, I mean, well, yeah, because he's being told if you can split this boulder. Well, there it is. So now you got what you want. You got the training. You got the mentor approving you, and that, well, not approving, but like he can't teach him anymore. So you got what you need. Now you got to split this boulder, and that becomes the obstacle that's going to lead us into the Act 3 of this particular chapter. So let's see how Tanjiro thinks through this. So can that even be split? Can you split it with a katana? I don't think I can. The blade would break. Urudaki. Wait, this. Urudaki. Since that day, Urudaki hasn't taught me anything. So he's been left, he's been not abandoned, but it's like, now it's up to you. So he's taken him on whatever journey he can do. And now it's like that introspection piece. You know, now you got to look inside. You've done what you can on the outside world, with the outside world, right? The training. Now you got to do the training on the inside, and whatever that means. You got to split the boulder. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I guess that's what he's telling Tanjiro to figure out, right? So still, every day I practice what I learned from Urudaki, holding my breath, flexibility, and the most basic things too. I'm glad I wrote everything down in my journal. Oh my God, but even after a half a year, I still can't split the boulder. Well, I mean, how did he didn't swing a friggin' katana at it, did he? I don't think so. He would have broke. But anyways, another half a year has passed. I'm beginning to worry. It isn't enough. I haven't had enough training. I have to do more. So this is the overachiever that we got right at the beginning of the chapter. He's got that weight on his shoulder because he's got the, support the family and stuff. Then the things happen to the family, and then he has that weight and burden on his shoulder, and he has to take care of his Nezuko, and he wants to cure her, and so and all this pressure, and so I have to do more. This is the hero's this is the driver all the time, and this is him. He's going to exhaust himself. If I were to call it right now, the catalyst moment here is going to be something he's going to be his worst enemy here, I think, by trying so hard. Maybe, I don't know, we'll find out. But there's got to be an obstacle here. So what is it? What if I'm no good? Well, it's internal doubt. Will Nezuko die like that? I have no answers. I'm losing hope. I'm going to fail. So there's a loss of hope. Okay, that's a very tropey thing. Not a bad thing. And then, what is this? Come on, try harder. Silence in the loudest font possible. And flip the page in. A man shouldn't whine. It's unseemly. I don't know why I spoke so gently, but he seems so calm. It's the fox mask. Where did he come from? I can't smell him. A fox mask. And the foxes, there's a myth, a Japanese myth with foxes. Like there's a lot going on with that. So whatever the suffering, bear it in silence. Nice. If you're a man. Or are you still a little boy? I just talked about the whole father. He's the man of the house. That whole thing, right? And then there's the whole, like, the first guy who kicks the shit out of him. And then we have this dude repeating it all again. Or are you still a little boy? Like, have you grown up? Have you become the man? That theme carries through. Whoosh. Oh, what the fuck? Whack. Boot. Bunk thud. Okay. You're slow and weak and immature. Everyone just crushes this dude. Physically, emotionally. You'll never be a demon slayer. Boom, put more doubt on him. Yeah, that's exactly what he needs right now. So we have our obstacle. This new dude, who's part of the training, I suppose. Oh, and it's the end. That was the Act 3. So the obstacle was his self-doubt, I suppose, right here. And then going into Act 3 are these 3 pages here. That's the conclusion of the chapters. That, okay, well, what do you need? Well, you need this guy now to come around, kick your ass some more, emotionally damage you some more, until you learn how to come out of this with possibly part 2 of your journal, which is going to be fun. That's even an extra layer of the breakdown, because you can use these patterns to break down the chapter, because this is a story, and so it's going to have story beats. The two-parter is going to be a story, and so it's going to also, it theoretically could follow the same beats if I were to spread them across both the parts, and then of course the volume. So kind of amusing. It's kind of like a Inception. This better not go fourth layer, or I'm screwed. I'm never getting back out. So that's it for chapter 4, and we're going to chapter 5, which is the second part of the journal story. And I thought it was going to be an introspection thing. He's writing things down, but now there's this other new character getting introduced into the mix, which is, if I were to think about it from a volume perspective, why introduce a character like that? Like, generally when you introduce a character because we're in the second half of an act 2 here, right? When you do that, they would have gotten introduced at the beginning of an act 2 to then be vital for the end of an act 2 going into act 3, which is of course the last 2 chapters of the volume. So yes, it's inception-y. So because I'm just informing my speculation here on what this dude could be. Like, I feel like if I were to guess, then because of the whole arrangement of those story pieces, is that he doesn't so much represent a new character. He does, but maybe he's more an idea. Like, so it's just strange how this character gets introduced at this point, unless he's that Giyu character. But I don't think no, there's no way he's not the Giyu character. So it's definitely a new character. Yeah, new hair and stuff like that. And so what does he represent to the story going into an act 3? Well, he's part of this test. I think he's I don't know, if I had to speculate, this is the journal is the introspection. It's I got nothing else to teach you. Basically, the physical training. I think this is a mental training. It's the boulder thing. How do you split a boulder? I think there's like a thing there. It's not necessarily, there's something there, and it's not necessarily what he would anticipate, but also as a reader, like, this is going to be the reveal. This is going to be the thing for act 3. It's going to give us that catalyst moment that will happen probably at the end of the journal set, and he's going to like learn something that then he can apply, and then he's going to get through this test. But I don't know, we'll learn more about the whole Demon Slayer core, because maybe there's something going on there where, yeah, that dude's going to matter, but more than, I think it's going to be more than just it's a person that's helping him get through the challenge in a physical realm. I think the story is taking place in a very introspective place. That's where I'm going to stick to. And I think that character is going to help Tanjiro tap into that inner kind of training, and then that inner training is going to combine with the outer training, and then he's going to split the fucking boulder. That's what I'm saying. Catch you in the next chapter. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace.